Conceptual estimating, high level. It's a way of kind of getting an idea of an estimate, how much it's going to cost, scope, all that, with a very high level set of information. So you don't have a whole lot of idea, a lot of details about what is the project in its entirety, all the nuts and bolts. You may have an idea of, location, type of project, rough size, maybe some intended use for this, that, or the other, kind of, depending on what the project type is. But the idea is with a very, very limited set of information, let's kind of come up with an estimate of that project. Oftentimes, this process relies on a well-seasoned estimator, somebody who's done this a lot. They've done a lot of that project type. They've been in the game for a number of years, and they just have a lot of experience to just naturally pull from because they've done quite a few of these jobs. But that's a challenge because it takes that seasoned estimator who's been there and done that. And unless you have those guys on your team, it's much harder to put together that conceptual estimate because you don't have all that expertise to kind of fill in all those blanks that you have. Cost history definitely plays into that from the standpoint of you've now got this historical data of all these jobs you've done over the months, years, decades, whatever. So you don't necessarily have to rely on that one or two guys that have just been doing this for so long that know how much stuff costs. They know the hurdles you run into. They know the people that are involved, all that jazz. You can actually look at all that data you've done. So you can have that more junior or mid-level estimator kind of peruse all that historical data, look at jobs of different type or the same type, look maybe same size, same region, or pull jobs from different regions or slightly different size and just kind of apply some multipliers. And they'll be able to use that historical data that the company has created to get an idea of what that project would cost. So that's really kind of the power of the conceptual or the historical costing and how it can feed back into conceptual. Is it now gives your entire team the ability to make those kinds of estimates, those decisions, without having to have those years and years and decades of just experience and of going through those different jobs. And at that point, the junior doesn't have to necessarily think through all the possible things that go into it because it's already been done by the company. Maybe they were involved in the jobs, maybe they weren't, but the data is all already there for them. So we already have some stuff built into Estimator to kind of make the whole conceptual job easier. So we have workflows that involve our project view to kind of power your estimates. So you can have an estimate linked to effectively the spreadsheet that may kind of boil down a project type to high-level information and metrics. And so as you answer questions in the spreadsheet, the estimate just naturally gets built out. So that's kind of where we're at today. Works great, but as Estimator continues, as people build out this historical data within the system, we now have Estimator now has it at its fingertips, basically, all of that data. So where you can easily start going is rather than requiring somebody going in there and filling out this spreadsheet and answering out all these questions, you could start looking at the historical data you have done and let the product help you answer those questions. So not necessarily do it for you. Obviously, you want to have a little bit of control and oversight of what's happening, but it can start kind of seeding some of that information for you to kind of help you along the way, help you save time, just help you kind of plug in the numbers, so to speak. And it's not just made up data, it's using your own historical costing to kind of make those answers for you. So as things go on, as the data becomes available, as products evolve and grow, as the industry changes and starts adopting and these new thought processes and techniques, I think that's where you can easily start to see this stuff going. If you can see that, hey, on this type of job, you're consistently doing X, Y, and Z, why not, help you do that before you do it? Like if we see that you're always pulling in these specific assemblies or these packages, then why make the estimator go through those steps to pull it in if the product can help do it automatically? And that would just free up time for the estimator to do other things. There's always something else that needs to get done on the job. So the faster you can do the everyday nuts and bolts operations, the more time you have to do the bigger and better things that you wish you had more time for. So I think the cost history bit, the concept and the idea has been around for quite a while. We've dabbled in it and as long as I've been here, and I've been here forever. Um, you know, uh, other companies have always tried to keep their own data for their own cost history. So the concept's been around for a while, but it's not really been until recently that the technology's really been there to let them get at all that data. So in a sense, cost history's been around a while, but in another sense, cost history is still fairly new. So today, when you look at it from the perspective of that, it's just so much easier to get at that data, that it's almost kind of, now that we have the data, it's now a real opportunity to see what can we actually do with that data. There's the obvious, things. There's the things we can do around cost history. There's things we can do, gut checking our estimates. Are we following the same trends? Did we miss a scope here or there? Our regional numbers generally lining up the same? There's those types of things you can start doing with that data. But I think now, with the data being more easily accessible, we're going to start dreaming up. Whether it's Beck Tech or just the industry, we're going to start thinking about these new things that we just never really considered before because the data just wasn't as easily accessible. So we're definitely excited to kind of jump on that, and kind of lead the way and help provide those new insights, those new workflows, just the ways of kind of using and leveraging that data to just help make better, smarter decisions, and ultimately let people get their job done faster and spend more time doing the things that really matter to them. So the whole idea of cost history, having this data available to us, I mean, it's incredibly exciting. I hope the industry is excited to kind of dive into it and really see what they can make use of that data as well.